the approval of minutes for the meeting of February 19th. And everybody should have those, and so should I, but I can't find them right now. Oops, I think I'm getting close. This pile of paper here. I apologize, folks. For some reason, I was just completely out to lunch. I was looking at the news and remembering that this is an important Friday. Anyway, the pleasure of the board with regard to the minutes of February 19th, 2021. And if everybody's happy, if anybody's unhappy, let's have a motion.
Bill Cummings, motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you, Bill. Do we have a second? We have a second. I see somebody over there. They're always Finley. Okay. Cummings. Finley. Okay, let me see if I can get this on print here. I just get my agenda in front of me and take 1 second more. Okay. Our first order of business today was to can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Was the status of the Souhegan River footbridge. That's, I don't expect much has happened there, but does Carl have anything to report on that issue?
Yeah, thanks, Nelson. Not a lot to report. We did get our approved shoreland permit yesterday for the project. So that's good news. The wetland permit.
What shoreline? I'm sorry, what permit?
The Shoreland Protection Act permit. So that's that 250-foot buffer along the river line.
Help me out here. 250-foot buffer. Oh, this is from
DES.
From DES. Okay, but yeah. It's already there. What did we need a permit to replace?
So anytime you do work within 250 feet of any of the designated water bodies under the Shoreland Protection Act, you have to get a permit from DES. Okay,
I think you're talking about the trail, right?
Isn't that what we're talking about?
I was talking about the footbridge.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my mistake. I misheard.
Okay.
So the footbridge, very little to update there as well. I guess the only update there would be about a month or so ago, Representative Pappas's office reached out to Paul McCallie, Finance Director and Assistant Town Manager, with a request to submit some projects that we would like to see done, that Representative Pappas's office is going to submit to the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee at the House. He made that offer to all the districts, all the towns in his district. So Paul and I submitted 4 projects, 2 of which were accepted to move on in the process, one of which was the pedestrian bridge. So last Friday, Paul and I got to do a 1-minute presentation to some of Representative Pappas's staff to talk about the 2 projects that we were allowed to move forward on, which was that and the roundabout project at Turkey Hill and Babusick. So now we sit and wait. We're not encouraged by it because Pappas is allowed to submit 10 projects within his entire district to the T&I committee, of which there were over 200 presentations. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, you're talking now about the footbridge, or you talking?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So the footbridge, that's iffy, but we'll get on that list.
So that's our latest attempt to try to garner some funding for the project.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody have any suggestions or comments or wishes on that regard? See, no one will go on. If only I could get my agenda to print. Next thing was the Sahegan River Trail. And then we'll go to that. Kyle, how's that looking?
Sure. Now I'll jump into the shoreland permit. Little out of step there. So yesterday we received our approved shoreland permit for the Sahegan River Trail project. So that's one more milestone checked off. DES is still in the process of reviewing the wetland application. And I also heard yesterday that the Army Corps of Engineers has requested a digital copy of that permit to send to EPA. I'm not sure what that's about. Our consultant said this is the first time he's ever had that request. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know if it's because of PFAS or anything else. At this point, we don't know. But EPA has elected to review the wetland application as well. We're also still waiting on the historic folks to sign off on the project, believe it or not, even though their department signified no adverse impacts, they still have not signed what's called the 106 memorandum for us to move forward. So I don't even know what to say about that, but so that's kind of where we stand.
Oh my gosh. This is so sad. Well, okay, it is what it is, I guess. We got to keep slugging.
At this point, we're ready to finish the design and get it out to bid. We just need to complete the environmental review process.
Yeah. Wow. Anything with this committee can do to help? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think, statewide, DHR is a problem.
DHR is
Division of Historical Resources.
Oh, okay.
They single-handedly have put months of delay into this project, and but they do that with every project. So I'm not sure if it's staffing, if it's attitude. I don't know what the issues are. And I also know that people are reluctant to make waves because you need their signature to move your projects forward.
Yeah.
Without intervention from whoever's above DHR, which I suppose is the governor, I'm not sure if there can be any change unless it's systemic change.
Yeah. Anything our political people can do, since you bring them up? Of course, the election's over now, so who's in is in.
It's a tough one, Nelson, honestly, because what the DHR folks will say is they're just going off of the National Historic Protection Act.
Yeah.
They're just following the rules. And I don't know. It's the bureaucracy you see at all levels of government that can be so frustrating.
Yeah.
And like I say, I don't know if it's a staffing issue or an attitude issue or what.
Yeah.
But it's frustrating. I know that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Wow, Carl. Wow. Anybody
got a project like this where you'll recall early on, probably 2 years ago, right, Nelson? We had the meeting out there, and our historian looked at it and said, no, there's nothing left of value here.
Yes.
And they still made us go through the process and still made us spend tens of thousands of dollars, and they still won't sign off on it. So I don't know. I'm at a loss.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your patience. Please hang in there. And if anything occurs to you that we can do either politically or by our committee here, let us know. I don't know who, are any of our state reps on that committee? They must have some contact with the legislature, right? So,
Yeah, I'm not sure the interplay there. I do have a meeting. I've been asked to speak to at least some of the state reps next week about public works and what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I may or may not bring this up. I try not to get political.
I know that's the thing. You're always on a thin ice of getting
Right.
something ticked off. I don't know.
So we'll see.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for your patience and hang in there and stay in touch.
Oh, sure.
Right. The next, anybody want to say anything on the subject? Anybody got ideas on what we can do? I don't. I'm at a loss, and I think Carl's right in some ways, and that you get somebody ticked off in the wrong place, and then see how bad it can get, I guess.
Right.
Okay. Next item on our agenda tonight was today. Oh, what? What?
No, sir. I mean,
Yeah,
What-
Finley.
they have all the information they need, do they not?
They do.
So the problem, I mean, we shouldn't have to be walking on thin ice. They've done their job. We just need an answer. So
Yeah.
it is a little annoying to me that they can't do that. And this is one of my beefs about government is the unelected, unaccountable bureaucrat who can make your life difficult. And that's where I feel like we are. We jumped through the hoops. We gave them the answers. They dug up what they needed. So give us an answer. And so I don't know. I think, Kyle, if you are meeting with a handful of the legislators, you might mention it, because I don't think that's political. I think that's, needing an answer. So
It's the fact.
yes.
It's the truth.
So I'd like you to mention it to them if you think it's okay. If you don't think it's okay, then I don't want you to put yourself in a pickle. So
Sure. No, I'm definitely leaning towards it, Finley. And today's email is one that frustrates me, and I'll just share a little of it. So back on April 8th, this is in response to another request from DHR for information. This one was a new one regarding proposed retaining wall compliance with Secretary Section 9. This is something I had never heard of. But our consultant responded on April 8th with all of the information. He responded again today saying, inquiring about the review. The response we got back, hi, Jim, it's in the queue. I haven't reviewed it yet, period.
all right.
So I don't know. I'm at a loss.
Yeah. Well, feel free. For my opinion, feel free to carry to the legislators whatever you think is appropriate.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
I'm with you on it. You got my support.
Well, thank you, Finley, and he's got mine too, because we're all frustrated here. And it's not like this is the first time we've been through this. Remember, this
Right.
was in 2016. We got this award,
Right.
and we've been
2014.
what?
It was
14?
the 2014 grant round.
Okay,
Yeah.
14. It's so long ago.
Right. And that actually, Finley and Nelson, that actually helps me having your support to bring it up, because I can bring it up through the town center committee to the reps. So
Yeah, you can, and you can
That's-
tell them
that's
that
very
it's
good,
not,
so I will
it's
do
not
that.
you doing it. It's this ugly committee on the other side of the wall here who is beating you up every month because you can't make this thing happen.
sure,
And,
that's
you know,
appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, good. You're welcome for that. But it is something we can do. Okay. The next item on our agenda then is Woodbury Street, and maybe we got some progress here. Hmm?
I'm just going to disappoint you all the way around, Nelson.
Oh, Kyle.
Unfortunately, Dawn has been busy with other priorities, chiefly getting the roundabout out to bid, which if it isn't out to bid, it's going to be very, very soon. I think it might already be. Her next big focus is on moving Woodbury forward, and the first big step is the wetland application. So we got to get that into DES to begin their clock of review, which, as we know, can take some time. So that's our next major step, is to get the wetland application done, and we hope to have that done in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, we were hoping that we could get Woodbury out to under construction this season. Right?
And we still have that hope.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Projects, unfortunately, when you have environmental considerations, they do just take a lot of time.
Well, we were going to have we had talked earlier about having a sort of a groundbreaking out there. We were hoping that we could get something this spring. We could get some video cameras out there and have a little progress event. Doesn't look like that's going to happen, huh?
Yeah, you would kind of put that out there, Nelson. I didn't share your optimism on an April or May date, because we do need the wetland permit. But I am hopeful this fall we can begin construction. The good news is the actual construction part of the project won't take that long. It's probably a 2-month project, I would guess.
Yeah. Well, months are January and February, and then it'll be weather, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Can we still, for Facebook, do some kind of, maybe not call it a groundbreaking, but just kind of a public service, or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
kind of tell people what the objectives are and what we're trying to accomplish, and that we're working on it, maybe not commit to any dates.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Bill. And we could certainly do kind of a colored plan mock-up of what it's going to look like, and put it out there on an easel, and Nick and his gang could do their magic.
Yeah, Kyle, why don't we work sometime next week on a video on what the project is, what it entails, and how it's gonna, how Merrimack residents are gonna benefit from it. Why don't we create a short form video on that? We'll put that out there.
Yeah, why don't we shoot for the weekend game plan, and when you do the actual video, I think we should do it as school lets out, because you'll probably get quite a good number of students walking down in the middle of the road.
But let's
Yeah.
script the video, and let's work on that next week.
Sounds great.
Oh, that would be excellent. Thank you, Nick. That would be a big help, and to get some.
I mean, if you want some committee members, if you could just let us know, Nick or Kyle or whatever. I mean, we're not going to do much, but just be there, I guess, to be
there. Just to be there would be good. I think that would be great, and I see you're now a trustee of the trust funds. Hey, you got any money you could invest in this?
Who would like to volunteer? Who from the committee would like to volunteer to be on camera to talk about the project?
I mean, I'd be happy to have a cameo. I'm
Bill
not-
Wilkes is it? Okay, great. So we'll have Bill. Kyle and I will write it, and we'll with Colin probably, and we'll make sure we include Bill.
Okay,
So we have a town center committee person on camera, kind of serve as the face for the committee.
very good.
Can be
Bill's
used
a
as a
super-
recruiting tool too.
Bill Wilkes is going to be the superstar. Sorry, Nelson.
Well,
It's not,
that's okay.
not always about you.
I'm glad to share. But if you're stuck or something, call.
Join us, Nelson. I know you're right around the corner, so join us.
He is not camera shy.
Okay. All right. Let us know the date and time, and I'll be there. And thank you, Bill, for being there and for taking the lead on this. That's good to have somebody besides me out there in front advertising this and making it happen. So thank you, Bill, and thank you.
Well,
Nicholas.
I think it's a great project, and I mean, I've seen these kids walking down the middle of the road for years. I've been in Merrimack since '86 now, so
Yeah.
I've been here long enough to have witnessed a lot of kids that walk right down the middle of the road, and it's a steep decline down to the wherever they go, Frank's Place or whatever they call it now, and I think it's an important project.
Tomahawk Tavern.
Good. That would be great. Okay, that's not so bad after all, Kyle. It's not too. We'll at least be doing something out there and doing our part, but we still got to get that wetland thing. I thought this project was ahead of the roundabout. It's been on our books for longer.
No, actually the roundabout was in last year's budget. The the sidewalk is in the current year's budget.
Well, yeah, but we've been talking about that sidewalk since 15 or 16 when we applied for a grant to do it. We advertised that we got the grant.
Right, that was 2016, 17. Yep.
Yeah, we had all kinds of money and everything. Everything was going to be good, and then, oops, we don't have enough money. We're going to take your money, and then went downhill from there, so to speak. It's a downhill walk, but yeah. Okay. Thank you. Anything else on that subject? I talked with Matt Chevanel. Item number D is the status of the high school master plan. Looks to me like the high school master plan is dead for a while. We've got some new high school board members, school board members. We've got Matt is getting his COVID shot today, his first one. So he felt that was more important than coming to this meeting.
Yeah, sure.
But anyway, he thinks it's probably they're going to be rethinking. We have a new board now, and we may be rethinking that. So we'll kind of put that on a back burner for a while. And along with it goes the sidewalk on O'Gara Drive. Let's see here. The Facebook page. How's that coming along? I visited it. It sure looks nice as far as it goes. But anything new to report there, Nick, other than what we've just talked about, which would be great to have eventually work that into Facebook. But,
Absolutely. So, was that me?
I think that was me. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, I think that really the next bigger project I was going to work on with the committee was a video about Woodbury.
Yeah.
I think doing just a video about what the project is, an overview of that would be great. Great for short form video for the Facebook page and the channels, obviously.
Yeah.
One thing I did this last week. I'm sure you noticed it. Was we had an event in the town center. I know Finley was there, which was the 275th anniversary kickoff event.
Yeah.
So I did two things. I posted about that because it was taking place in the town center. So I shared something from the Merrimack TV page the day that it was happening. And then I noticed that Bill Cummings posted something, which was great. He reshared the staircase project video. And then just earlier this week, we made a video about the anniversary kickoff event, which was just a short form 3-minute video. And since I admin both the Merrimack TV page and the Town Center Committee page, I hadn't done this yet, but we can now cross post. So I figured since that was a piece of content that could, maybe get some eyes on the Town Center Committee, I shared that as a cross post. So, I think I'd like to say with the weather warming up, but looking outside today, it's winter all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But I do want to get out at some point and take some photos, different areas around the town center, and be a bit more consistent with how often we post on there. We do have a great reach. We have almost 300 people that are following the page now. What I would ask any of the committee members, if you have a personal Facebook presence, given that you're all Merrimack residents, invite your friends from your Facebook page to also follow or like the Town Center Committee page. And I think as it continues to be populated with more content, then maybe we'll have more people following. And I could probably do a better job of maybe letting people know kind of what was on, an agenda, what was discussed, kind of like a meeting wrap up type thing. But we are keeping people informed, which I think that really is the purpose of this page, is to keep people informed on
I agree.
in the town center and with the committee first, and then happenings in the town center itself.
Yeah. That's great. That's great, Nick. Thank you. That's a big help to this committee. And speaking of the 275th anniversary kickoff there, I showed up for that because I thought it was something that was open to the public. I was advised it wasn't open to the public because they wanted to limit the number of people exposed to COVID. And so I left. I didn't go, but I did see the videotaped version of it, and it was good. I just want you to know that the word was out there. Don't come to this thing. I think we could have had more people there.
Most of the seats that were there were filled, and we did live stream it not only to the channel but also to our website and streaming devices as well.
Yeah.
It's been awesome being able to live stream these different events, and people seem to really appreciate it. And I think it's going to become an expectation of my department post pandemic. People seem to love the live stream. I mean, content is king right now. Everyone is watching something on their device.
Yeah.
All the time. So, not only just creating content for the channel, but also for these different social media pages. At some point, I really want to sit down and talk to our new town manager and see if I can establish a social media presence for the town itself.
Yeah.
As a point of source of information for, all these different pages. Everyone does a great job at running the pages.
Yeah.
Matt and Kyle, Parks and Rec, DPW, police, everyone does an awesome job of running their own pages, but I think it'd be nice to have one central page that can share everybody's info.
Link them. Yeah. Yeah.
that's my goal here with my job and my role here in Merrimack. I'd really like to develop that social media presence for the town. But with that said, also, since it's my turn on the agenda, if I need to be made an official member of this committee, I'm cool with that. I don't know. We kind of talked about it a little bit.
I'm sure that would be no problem. I don't think the council makes the appointments. I could put in a request if that would help. As we talked about this before, and you were kind of ambivalent about whether you really wanted to be a member of the committee. Personally, I think it's a great idea, and it would be good, and I would be happy to write the letter to the council or make the request to the council and have it be done by them officially, and then you're a voting member and so on. And if that's what you'd like.
It's I just want to make sure that we're doing things right, because I am admitting the page. I'm present at each meeting.
Yeah.
You know, if it's totally okay and acceptable for me to just kind of be a guest, non-voting member, that's fine too. I just want to make sure that, you know, as we continue to post on the social media page and with my presence at each meeting, I don't want something to seem off.
Yeah. Okay. I have no problem with that. I'll put the request in and we'll see. I'm sure they won't have any problem.
Is Kyle an official voting member?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And we did it through the council. We went to the council. We got the council to make the appointment, and Kyle is an official member. He's a voting member.
With he also had to get a tattoo though to become a member.
Oh yeah, I didn't talk about that. Yeah.
Well, I already
forehead.
have a Nelson Disco tattoo. So
This will be on your forehead. On your forehead, right between your eyes.
it's what the kids. It's a chest piece. That's what the kids call it.
Is that what-
It's actually an eagle's body, wings spread with Nelson's head on it. That's what it is.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's legit. Kyle actually gave it to me. He's a very talented artist.
Okay. Okay,
It's Friday.
it's done. It's Friday. Let's see what's next on the agenda here.
As Joe Mitchell would say, no such thing as a bad Friday.
Right. The next thing is the report to the Merrimack seniors. You know, I had a request from Matt Kasparius. Matt Kasparius apparently has a presentation he makes to the Merrimack seniors via Zoom, and he does it every this Monday, and he brings in different forms of entertainment for seniors at their monthly meeting. It's a monthly thing, and he asked if I would talk about the town center committee to the Merrimack seniors, which I did do. And I just gave them an overview sort of what our committee has done and is doing. They all seemed very happy with it. And it was uneventful otherwise, as far as the committee's concerned. I didn't, I think I put out a message when I was about to do it. And the Merrimack seniors were impressed. I didn't get any volunteers to join the committee out of it, but they seemed to like what we were doing, or not object to it at any rate. So I just wanted to make you all aware of that. I've got an outline if anybody wants to see what I told them, but you're all pretty familiar with it. It's just kind of a status report. And at that time, I was hoping we would be a little further along on a couple of our favorite projects, like the Sahegan River Trail on the Newbury Street. But anyway, it's what it is, and that was done. Yeah, Kyle, there was some talk this week. I think you gave some information to the council on the status of the Route 3 Babusick Brook Bridge. And I think that is information that was kind of, would be interesting to this committee. I think there seems to be some life there in far as getting support from the state and or I think an alternative source of funding. Did I get that right, Kyle? Or help
Yep,
me out
exactly.
Here.
Yeah, so sure, I can speak on that.
Yeah, thanks.
So by way of catching the committee up on the status of that project, it's been in the 10-year plan for a number of years now, the NHDOT 10-year plan. Currently, it's scheduled for construction in 24, 25 fiscal years. The problem with the project is it's not fully funded by DOT. So it's supposed to be an 80-20 project out of the state aid bridge program. And we're significantly short of funding on the state side. So they've, some of you may recall, we did a public hearing on the project last August 2020, and that helped us to finalize the engineering study or feasibility study for the project, and then that gets submitted to DOT. And what that does is it gives a really good cost estimate for the project, and it picks the preferred alternative for the project. And the alternative that was selected was a long span steel beam concrete deck bridge with a temporary detour bridge so that we can keep traffic flowing on Daniel Webster, a 2-lane bridge. Unlike the one you saw on Bedford Road last year, whereas 1 lane alternating with traffic signals, there's simply too much traffic on Daniel Webster to do that configuration. So it would be a full 2-lane detour bridge. So the next step in our process is to move to what's called the preliminary engineering. It's the design phase where the final design and the permitting, the environmental impacts, easements, all of that stuff gets taken care of. But we can't proceed to that phase until DOT gives us the go-ahead, and they won't give us the go-ahead because the project isn't fully funded. So we're in kind of a stalemate at this point. Our consultant brought to our attention an opportunity for potential funding through a FEMA BRIC program, which is Building Resilient Infrastructure. I forget what the C is, but the idea of the program is to build new infrastructure to prevent future flooding damage to facilities. So we met with our consultant, Don, and I met with the folks at New Hampshire Homeland Security and Emergency Management to discuss submitting for the next grant round, which is next year, for some BRIC funds, which is, I think it's I should have written it down. It's a large sum of money that they spend nationwide, but it is a competitive grant. In order to do the grant submission, you need to do what's called a benefit cost ratio. In other words, the cost of the project has to be less than or equal to the benefit should you not do the project. For example, one of the slides that I showed at the council meeting 3 weeks ago was that in a 100-year flood event, the Effie Everett Turnpike is actually underwater. By replacing the US 3 bridge, as we're proposing, it would eliminate that because it would drop the flood level so much on the Babusick Brook that the turnpike would no longer be underwater. So those are the kind of factors, and it factors in public property and private property. So the presentation I made to the council 3 weeks ago was a request to expend from the Capital Reserve Fund to do the benefit cost analysis in support of applying for the grant in the next grant round. It's not cheap. It's a $60,000 proposal. So it's quite a bit of money to do it because it is quite a bit of an effort to do that study. The benefit to it would be that now it would be a FEMA funded project instead of a DOT funded project. So there would be funding. The other benefit is it would be a 75%, 25% project, meaning the FEMA would cover 75% of the project, and the local would be responsible for 25%. But the way that breaks down is the state would pick up 80% of that 25%, and the town would be responsible for 20% of that 25%. So again, it's a risk, and the council, I'm actually presenting on the 22nd for some follow-up discussion on it. So it is a risk, but the reward, if we got into the program, which again, it's a competitive grant, so even if we spend the 60,000, we may not get the grant. But if we do, then we're going to save $800,000 or more total cost on the project. So that's where we are on the project.
Okay, well, it's encouraging to see something moving along there. It's a key piece of infrastructure as far as pedestrian access to the center of town is concerned.
Certainly.
It's really important safety-wise and everything, and it ought to be obvious to anyone looking at it.
And part of it, Nelson, is one of the things I am going to be talking about the state reps about, and really I think the reason they asked me to speak was this project and a letter that Paul and Eileen allowed me to write to the legislature concerning funding.
Yeah.
One of the discouraging things that came out of the House approved budget was a reduction by 0.6 million in the state aid bridge program. So and the real frustration comes, you'll recall, it wasn't too many years ago that the legislature approved the gas tax increase, which one component of that gas tax increase was $6.6 million in state bridge aid funding. And so that got approved. Before any of that money came to fruition, which incidentally would have doubled the size of the state bridge aid program, before the next biennium, the original 6.6 got pulled out in favor of putting it somewhere else in the budget.
Yeah.
So in the span of a few months, the bridge aid program doubled and then shrunk in half again to what it was. And now this current House budget has further reduced it by 0.6 million. So the state of the bridge aid program is pretty dire. And that also affects our pedestrian bridge because that hasn't even made it to the 10-year plan. And DOT is simply not accepting new projects because they can't fund the ones that are already in the 10-year plan.
when you talk 0.6 million for bridges in the whole state of New Hampshire, what are you talking about? You can build a footbridge. I don't. What are they thinking? There must be some other funding or something we're talking about. There's got to be bridges all over the state that are red listed that we know about. Probably some we don't know about.
Certainly the need is there. I wouldn't dare speak about the legislature's priorities. That's their job to do. But I do know the need is there.
No, it's just, I don't know what they think. Anyway, it's better I don't think about it. Okay. All right, that brings up one other thing, and that is for the committee is this has come under new business now. That we had originally planned our next fiscal year budget to include a sidewalk on Twin Bridge Road that was going to loop together with the new covered bridge and make a loop, and it will come back through this particular piece of sidewalk if in fact it ever gets built. And I was going to argue with the town council at our next gathering, which will come in the fall this year, to put that money back in for that little piece of sidewalk on Twin Bridge Road in a future budget so that we can complete that loop. The loop going down through Twin Bridge Park, coming back up and then across Route 3 on the new to be built sidewalk. But if anybody has any thoughts on that, that would be my big request to council this year, right after we ask them to put Nicholas on the committee. So, any comments on that, or thoughts or suggestions? How we might make that more attractive? Yeah, Finley.
Yes. The money that we had proposed, and it was for a few different episodes for the next few years, that was pulled out. It was coming out of the unreserved fund surplus that the town has. Yeah. And we've been utilizing that for various infrastructure projects and so on, and as well to a degree to help stabilize the tax rate, if you will. And so that was brought up to hold off on for the time being. And there are other things that are happening that are kind of behind the scenes right now, and that I think will be beneficial for that sidewalk. But it's that's something that isn't of public record yet. So the future of it, I think it is reasonable. I just the holding off was just because of how we've been really using the unreserved fund surplus to a greater degree than I can ever remember before. So it was kind of a pause, if you will. I hated to do it because I don't want Nelson to think unkindly about me, and I knew that was a danger that I was running on. But I think as the timing goes on, I think it will be fitting into the equation in an easier way. That's cryptic, but that's kind of what I have right now. But so anyhow.
Okay, well, you won't be unhappy if I ask that money be put back in October when I give my annual report.
I would never be unhappy. I'm always good with whatever you and the committee desires, for sure. You know that.
Yes, and thank you. We thank you for that, because that's an important part of going forward here, is being able to do some of these projects a little at a time. Although I don't think we'll run into any wetlands on that project, but
right,
there's always something.
always. I'm just looking out the window here. I've got a plow truck coming through the street. That's
Is
not
it
a good
still
sign.
snowing?
The plow's going through April 16th.
Yeah, it's still coming down. Yeah.
I could hear the noise rumbling out there, but
Okay. by Sunday, it'll all be gone, you know. Yeah. Okay, then that pretty much takes care of our old business items. The new business, I think we talked about already. Plans for Woodbury Street videotaping. I think this meeting that Nicholas is going to set up with myself and Bill Wilkes and anybody else who wants to and get involved, we'll have more to report on that next time. And otherwise, I will ask if there's any public that are listening in. I don't have control of this, but Nicholas does, and I don't know if there's anybody in the public who wants to comment on our meeting or give us advice or partake in the meeting in any way. It's now we're open for that. Nicholas, I see you looking there, and I guess there's nobody wanting to come on board. The next meeting is be our next subject to discuss. If we have some progress to report, we probably ought to meet in May, but I don't know that we don't have much happening that we can talk about. I don't think. Any suggestions from May?
How about a June meeting? Skip July, and I don't know. See where we are in August.
That makes sense. We'll do June 4 or 11. Those are the first two Fridays in June.
11 works better for me.
What's that?
11.
11.
11?
11.
You got it. I'll put it down for 11. And
Nelson,
yes.
just a question. Did we have a roll call?
Oh, you know what? We didn't take. What were we supposed to take a roll call? I guess. I will take a roll call. I think everyone for the approval of minutes. Our first roll call was approval of minutes for February,
Yes.
and is everyone happy with if I put down yes, they voted for it, or shall we go one by one? We'll start one by one. Nelson votes in favor of the motion to pass the minutes, to approve the minutes of February, whatever it was, 19th.
19th.
Yeah. Okay. So Nelson votes aye. Karen is next on my list.
Aye.
Aye. And Bill Cummings is next.
I made the motion. I'll say yes.
Okay. Thank you. And aye. And then Nicholas doesn't get to vote yet, but we'll fix that soon. Finley,
Finley vote. I'm abstaining.
you're abstaining?
Yes, because I wasn't at the meeting, Nelson.
Okay.
It was in my schedule, but all of a sudden I realized it was 2:00.
Okay. I'm
Sorry
glad
about
that
that.
doesn't happen to me.
We hope you enjoyed your nap, Finley.
I know.
I want to
I
thank
know.
Kyle Fox for calling me and reminding me where I should be. Kyle, you voted in favor of that motion. Is that true?
Yes.
You're still there? Aye. And who did I not get to?
Bill Wilkes.
Bill Wilkes.
Wilkes, yeah. Wilkes voted aye. Who seconded the motion?
Finley did. I did.
Well, Finley
I
said.
did. Finley.
No, okay. Even though you're abstaining from voting, but you voted, you second of the motion.
I've been told you can do that. So that's the only reason I did it, because nobody else was jumping to the plate.
Thank you. That's
You're
okay.
welcome.
Okay.
I feel, Nelson, now that I've heard the reason for your tardiness, I feel good now about my mistake in February.
Okay,
I was
we
embarrassed at first, but now I'm not. So
we got your phone number too. Now we know how to get a hold of you. What happens? But you're usually
Absolutely.
babysitting. How'd you get babysitting today?
I am. I'm actually hiding in my daughter's bedroom so that I can avoid those 6 creatures. One is only 4 or 5 months old, so he's not running around yet. But the rest of them are creatures, so
Yeah.
they would be terrorizing me if I were down anywhere else.
Good. Well, get them interested in town center works.
Oh, they will be. They will be. The oldest is 7, and he's at school right now. He's in first grade. So
Yeah.
right now it's a quiet day, and of course, Lori, my wife Lori's here, and she's got them corralled, I guess, for the time being. So
She's doing.
I've had a little break.
She did a good job. Yeah.
If you want to see Grandpa Finley in action, you can watch the 275th anniversary event on our YouTube channel, because we got plenty of shots of Finley and his 24 grandchildren surrounding him. It's good.
Hey, all boys! I get my first granddaughter coming in June, so we're ready to rock the place.
All right.
Something to celebrate.
Absolutely.
Good for you.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. It's an exciting time in life for sure.
So now I will entertain a motion to adjourn. And
So,
Second,
who moved? Bill moved.
Bill moved and I second.
Oh, Bill Wilkes moved. Okay.
Yes.
yes.
Okay. We're too many Bills here.
I'm just a Bill.
Have a great weekend, guys.
And thank you, Bill, and thank you for the offer to help with this Woodbury Street affair.
Sounds good. Take care, guys.
And does everybody else vote aye in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
No objections? Nobody wants to delay this this pain any longer? So all in favor. I don't know how much longer we're going to be on this kind of
Merrimack TV is committed to our community. From gavel-to-gavel coverage of town and school board meetings to updates on town services and projects, we aim to keep you connected.
Good morning. I'm Kyle Fox, Public Works Director for the town of Merrimack.
Hi, I'm Diane Trippett. I'm the town clerk tax collector for the town of Merrimack.
I'm Captain Matt Tarleton with the Merrimack, New Hampshire Police Department.
And keep the public informed of every motion
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
and many moments, so you can be confident that we're here for you. Thanks for watching. Stay connected. Follow Merrimack TV on Facebook.